We just look at white men like they're cats. We're like, he'll land on his feet.
I mentioned my human son loves my missus. He does. And no offence to her, but I think that's quite easily done. I think his heart is quite easily won. I think if you're prepared to have enough ideas of games to play, get him anything from that tat shop tiger, keep your language clean, get the odd round in. I'll fall for you. The cats, however, have been much harder to impress. I can't talk about this within my own home, because I can't tell you how much she loves these cats. I'm going to say too much. But actually, I'm just going to say it. I actually think the cats might be homophobic. I've got loads of evidence. One of the cats likes jumping on the kitchen surfaces, licking all around, furring all around. Really nice. Someone just going, ugh. I'd be careful to do that out loud in an audience this queer. This is my edgiest bit in this crowd. Yeah, he jumps all over the kitchen surfaces where I do the cooking, and I was quite hard. I think, I was quite short. I said to my missus, do you think there's any way we could get him not to do that fucking disgusting thing? And she was like, yeah, all right, he's a cat, it's not a problem, we'll just discipline him. I'll buy a water spray can. And in fairness, she did. So next time he jumped up there, I went to spray him, and she was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, God. You don't have to spray him. You didn't actually spray. At least try mediation first. So me, the human, has to go, Conrad, please hop down. Incredibly, he didn't. So I go to spray him, and she's like, whoa, 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 trigger happy. The next thing she made me do is hold the watering can out like that and just sort of shake it, just sort of gently show it to the cat. Pretty confident I heard the cat go, Then, and only then, am I allowed to spray the prick. You can imagine the catharsis. Shh. But it turns out she hadn't bought a normal water spray can, had she? She'd bought a mister for succulents. Some water did come out of it, but in a lovely gentle plume. I swear to you, that cat went... He's even better at sexy dancing than me. Which brings me on to my main evidence against them, actually. There's no delicate way of putting this, but both the cats watch us bonk, and they're not very encouraging. Conrad the kitchen jumper watches like that. And Cleo, if anything, is worse. She's somehow found a way of sort of watching like that. And I was really letting this knock my confidence. But then, actually, in this instance, I realised I think I might need to take some responsibility, because I thought about it, and actually, there's been an empathy fail, hasn't there? On my part. Because at the end of the day, they're cats, aren't they? They're cats. And what cats thinking? If they're watching two women have sex, they're probably thinking, well, they are having a very thorough wash. What a noisy wash! Surely that bit's done, at least.
The only real problem on Vancouver Island is the mountain lions. I don't know if you know this, but Vancouver Island has the densest population of mountain lions in the world. Yeah, I guess it's here. I guess there's a mountain lion here tonight. That's how dense the population is. They are in this comedy club right now. All the cougars, yes, I knew that was going to happen. took a huge risk. But yes, we have the densest population of mountain lions in the world. I don't know how this happened. You know, I guess they keep multiplying and they can't get on the ferry, so they're just piling up here. And it's actually such a problem when I was a little kid, I had a conservation officer come to my school and educate the children about the murder cats that were lurking behind the playground. And I'll never forget what the conservation officer said. He sat down and he was like, you know, kids, you'll probably never see a mountain lion, but statistically, mountain lions have already seen you. It's the scariest thing I'd ever heard in my life. The fear of mountain lions has been burned into me so deeply it is irrational. I live in Vancouver now, in the city, and you know, I went down, I was walking down like a creepy alley the other day, and I heard some shuffling behind me, and my first thought was the mountain lions. Oh my God. They finally found me. And I turned around slowly, and it was just some guy with a knife, like... I was so relieved. Thank God he's got a knife in case there's a mountain lion around here, you know? Terrifying. Yeah, but generally, island problems are very different than mainland problems. I met a friend for coffee in Vancouver a few months ago, and he arrived late to the coffee, and he was all shooken up and, you know, kind of trembly, and I was like, hey man, what happened? And he was like, some guy tried to mug me, but I managed to fight him off, and I was like, oh my God, that's terrifying. And then when I visited my grandmother on rural Vancouver Island a few weeks ago, I knocked on her door, and she came to the door, and she had the same, like, traumatized, like, trembly look in her face. I was like, oh my God, Grandma, what happened? She was like, there's just too many hummingbirds, I can't feed them all. It's a nightmare. I was raised by hillbillies on the island. I know it's hard to imagine I have very good posture, but I was raised by rednecks, and a few years ago, a relative of mine, he died, and I inherited all of his guns. And I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. I guess it'll be fun. You know, I could just add some blast into my life. And I went to the rifle range, and I can't really enjoy guns because the ammunition is so expensive. I can't have a good time. Like, I sit at the rifle range, and the only thing going through my head is I'm like, $1, $1, $1, $1, $1. Oh, there's a big one, eh? Well, that's pretty cool. That's $3. Oh. Would have been a nice coffee. And I can't really, you know, you can't have guns for self-defense in Canada. It doesn't work that way here. You know, if you have guns at your place, you have to have them locked behind layers of security. You can't, it would be impossible. If someone broke into my apartment, it would take me a long time to get to the guns. So if someone breaks into my apartment, I basically have to monologue like a Bond villain. Like if someone smashes into my apartment, I'm gonna have to be like, get a glass of wine, walk into the living room. Ah, noble thief. Well done. You have breached my security. What a fool I was, thinking a sliding glass door would be enough. Now, before you beat me senseless and burgle my belongings, I thought I may toast you man to man. Now, my most expensive brandy I keep in that tall safe there. in the corner. So if you don't mind, I will get our toast prepared here. You have done well tonight. I didn't even hear you come in, and I think you should be quite proud of yourself. I would say your burglary was almost flawless, sir. Your only mistake being that you allowed me to talk for this long. $1, $1, $1, $1! $3! I'm a very good grandson, as all island boys are. There's a lot of grandparents here. And I phone my grandma all the time, and my grandma is very funny. She's 96 years old, and she has a very dark sense of humor, and she always giggles after she says something horrifying. Like, almost every time we end our phone call, I'll be like, okay, Grandma, I'll talk to you soon. She's like, probably not. All right. Whenever we talk on the phone, she would always talk about, like, she'd moved into a retirement home in the last few years, and she would always talk about the dinners they have there. She loves the food so much, and so I went to go visit her in the retirement home, and I was in a room, and I saw a laminated folder that said DNR on it, and I thought, oh, DNR, that's short for dinner. And like, dinner, this spells dinner. I was like, Grandma, is that your dinner menu? She's like, no, it means do not resuscitate. I love talking to my grandma, though. 96 years old, she's got a lot of amazing perspective on world events. I always like to get her opinion on things going on in the news. And I asked her, I said, like, Grandma, how does the pandemic compare to other things you've lived through? Like, was it worse than, like, what was it like compared to World War II? And she was like, oh, it was so much worse. And I was like, what? How was the pandemic worse than World War II? And she was like, oh, you know, World War II made sense. The pandemic was very confusing. And I thought, you know, that's kind of a fair point, honestly. Like, World War II is a huge tragedy, but it is a very simple story, you know? You've got, like, Hitler and the team of evil boys that's, like, the worst villains of all time on one side, and then the other side you've got, like, Tom Hanks and the Band of Brothers. And all the greatest heroes, and when the war ends, you know, every newspaper in the world is like, the war is over! And then, you know, if you're white, you get a Cadillac and a house. It's like... pretty awesome. Like, I don't think we would think of World War II with the same reference for the story if World War II ended like the pandemic ended, right? Like 1 year in 1945, all the newspapers in the world are like, there's 85% less World War II this year than... I think we're gonna call it. It's probably done about, just feel free to travel. We didn't find Hitler, he's out there somewhere. We are monitoring the situation. A lot of people revenge traveling this year. I heard that term. I hated that term. The news is saying everybody's revenge traveling for the travel they didn't get to do in the pandemic. And that sounds terrible, having a revenge holiday. I don't think you have to travel with revenge in your heart. Like all these people going to the Grand Canyon, like, look at the stupid cliffs! I was supposed to be here a year ago! Get in the truck! Look at Yellowstone National Park, it's a year older than it's supposed to be! 2020 was the best year for geysers! Traveling is very popular these days. There's a lot of a lot of influencers, a lot of rich influencers always posting about traveling. They always say they're going on an adventure. But they're all these rich people. Like, traveling is not an adventure if you're wealthy. Like, it's just a seamless series of events. You want to go on an adventure when you travel poor. Like, you'll have the biggest adventure of your life. Try and live in Europe for 3 months on a budget of $1,000. You're gonna rent an Airbnb in Romania that's like, if you're gonna stay here, no garlic, no crucifixes. It's like $1 a night, no problem. I was fortunate to travel right out of high school. I lived in France for a little while. That was cool. It was interesting living in France. I don't speak French at all, which makes it tough. They speak French like all day there. It's very humiliating not speaking the language. I basically had to be Mr. Bean to get my point across. I tried to get a haircut in France, and I walked into the barber shop like, oh, snip, snip, oh. Yeah, Rowan Atkinson. But yeah, people travel for all sorts of different reasons. Some people travel because they want to find out things about different cultures. They want to find out things about themselves. But when you actually go traveling, you learn that all you find is Australians. And you could go to a remote mountain village in Nepal and be watching the sunset, and like softly in the distance you'll just hear like, beautiful. And I don't blame it on the Australians. It's just part of their life cycle. They're just not like other people, Like they spawn in Australia. They're almost like salmon, right? They spawn in Australia. As soon as they're strong enough, they leave to like go collect work visas and PR cards. And then when they're ready to reproduce, they return to Australia because they have to make sure their weird accent continues forever, Can't lose it. Raising their little kids like, remember, it's pronounced no.
I was worried about dating in my 30s because I'm allergic to cats. Once you switch the age range to 30 plus on the apps, every second person's got a picture of their fucking cat. And the caption is like, don't swipe yes if you don't get along with my son.
Rescue dogs, I realize is a very American thing to rescue dogs. It is, and I think it's a great thing. I think most countries should do it, but because I didn't know that dogs needed to be rescued. I had no idea. I grew up in Venezuela, and I would see some dogs on the streets all the time. I never saw one dog going like, rescue me. No, they're outside going like, I'm free, I can be right here. But here in the US, it's crazy. You never see one dog on the street, right? Like if after the show there's a dog wandering around by itself, the whole city shuts down, right? It's like, somebody call 911, there's a dog by itself. He doesn't know what to do. Get out of the way, homeless person. We need to save this dog.
My wife and I don't want to have kids. We don't want to ruin our dog's life. So we want to, yes. Dogs over people, yeah? All right. Fantastic. You got a dog? You went pretty nuts. 2? Right on. What kind of dogs? Dalmatian and Golden Retriever. Beautiful. Nice. What do I have? Thanks for throwing it back. You're clearly not a grandmother. I had a 100-pound Mastiff that we had to put down during... I know I loved her, but she lost all my money in crypto. So I was like, no, she was sick. Putting a dog down is the worst. I don't know if anybody's had to do it. It's the worst thing in the world. Devastating. One of my buddies tried to make me feel better. He goes, at least it's not like a family member died. I was like, dude, there are so many humans in my family I would have rather put down than that dog. Yeah. I can think of 2 aunts and a dad I'd push in front of a bus for 1 more hour. 1 more game of fetch. We got a new one, though. We got a beautiful little yellow lab pit beagle mix, some train wreck of a big dumb ears. I love her. I love her so much. Sometimes I think I love her more than I love my wife. And I know my wife loves the dog way more than she loves me. Like, it's like sex with my wife has just become foreplay for petting the dog now. You dog owners know what I mean. The minute we're done, I'm like, bring me that dog, get her over here. Put her on my sweaty belly. I'm just dabbing sweat with her big ears. Just. Remember those old movies? They'd light a cigarette and look cool after sex? I'm just petting a puppy with a shaky hand, like, bring us a Gatorade, my electrolytes are low. I could pinpoint the moment that I realized I loved the dog a little bit more. My dog sleeps in between my wife and I, on her back, head level, sprawled out, comfortable, and she snores like a dying old alcoholic man. Like, it's like zombie sleep apnea. I've never heard noises like this. She's like, whoa, eyes are open, like paws are going. I love it. I can't get enough. I'm laying on my pillow like, I gotta get this dog a TikTok. This is amazing. And then my wife rolled over and made one little noise. She was just like, I'm just staring at her furious. Like, if she doesn't shut the hell up, I'm gonna ball up every dirty sock, cram it in her mouth. It's gonna wake the dog up. I like put my beats on the dog, playing tranquil music. Like, you guys have those like obnoxiously named overpriced doggy daycare places around here? Those dumb names. Do you guys have any? Yell them out. What's the names of the places? Dogtopia. I was in Boulder, Colorado. They had one called Bonjour. And it's like, I bring my dog to a place, $50 to bring her to hang out for the day. And then they text me like to guilt me into buying add-ons for her. They send me a picture of her and she's all sad. The other dogs are in the back like fucking and drinking and smoking cigarettes. My dog. Dog's doing a keg stand. They text me, for $15, you could get your dog a compassionate CBD paw rub. I'm like, can you just make sure she doesn't eat shit? That's like really all we want. She doesn't need 12 minutes in the heated pool with a snuffle pad. Just please keep her out of traffic. That's all we want. We get pictures of her with like a unicorn horn sucking on a glow stick. I'm like, you give her ecstasy? Like, what is this? Is Burning Paw today at Bark Avenue? I know my neighbors by their dogs' names. Like, I don't know my neighbors. You guys know what I mean? I'm like, oh, there's Maggie and the asshole that walks her. I hate that guy. He never says anything good. She's a good pup. And I got a great wife. 10 years married to my wife. She's a nurse practitioner. Fought the good fight for all of us. Yep. Amazing woman. Boy, I'll tell you, everyone was so great to the nurses during the pandemic, man. You guys were awesome. We were in New York, and everybody was standing on their stoops, banging pots and pans, calling her a hero. We appreciated it. I booed her every night when she got home. I just wanted to keep her honest, you know what I mean? Like, you guys build her up. I got to keep her sharp. For us, you know? I don't need her peacocking around the kitchen all tits forward, you know? I got to make sure she's tight. She'd come home after a long shift. She'd be like, we saved 31 people today. And I'm like, I read 4,000 died. So I don't know, babe. Like, you may want to keep those scrubs handy, Pumpkin. I don't hear no bell, Mick. I didn't say that. I sprayed her in the face with Lysol and hid under the kitchen table like a giant baby. Lighting matches, trying to land them in her Crocs. Make noise if you're a nurse. Where are you? Nurses in here? Yeah? Anybody? Oh, yeah? Fantastic. Is this your guy? What do you do, sir? Don't ruin my fucking special. I'm just gonna insert a thing, so. I drive a truck. Okay, truck driver. We got that? Right. I wish every day was a special. You just make shit up. So she's a little smarter than you. Yeah. I hear you, bro. I'm picking up what you're putting down. My wife's getting smarter and smarter right in front of me, and I'm not. She's a cancer surgeon's nurse practitioner. Yeah. And I sit at home and watch cartoons and listen to the Grateful Dead. Yeah, it's important, but I'm not keeping up with the conversations. Like, she tells me shit about work, and I'm like, can you call someone you work with? Like, she tells me stories like she thought I was there handing her a scalpel all day. I'm like, remember when I wasn't there the whole time? Like, I just throw things I heard on commercials back at her to keep up. I'm like, how was your day? She's like, oh, we had to palpate the sutures on a Whipple, and I'm like, that sounds moderate to severe right there. I think that's. That is textbook plaque psoriasis, if I have ever heard. They should ask their doctor or pharmacist if AstraZeneca can help. They might lower their copay. I'm a hypochondriac. I have everything. I have everything. I die of 10 things a day. Everything her patients have, I have. Like, I hear the word, and I'm like, yeah, I'll die from that, totally. I had pancreatitis the other day. She said the word, and I'm like, yeah, I'll die, totally, that'll kill me. I just started holding my back. Like, I just was in the middle of her story. I'm like, oh, yeah, shit, it's no joke, that pancreatitis. She goes, that's not even where your pancreas is. And I'm like, oh, it's radiating, okay? It's clearly advanced, and it's probably in the lymphatic region now, so she gave me some Advil. And I feel bad for her. I'm not easy. It's a great part of a relationship when you can show each other your messed up shit. You know what I mean? You guys, I hope you're in a relationship, because he's had your knee pretty locked down for... Are you at that point, say you're watching TV and you got some weird thing on your foot, can you like dangle it in her face and be like, is that cancer, babe? Can you feel this lump? That's true love. I show my wife everything. And I couldn't show her things during the pandemic because she was like in the COVID, like full beekeeper, like the whole 9 yards, you know? So she was in one bedroom, I was in the other, and I couldn't show her things. She's saving lives, and I'm an out-of-work comic at home with crippling anxiety and Google. Bad combination. My Google searches before the pandemic were unbelievable. I was like, can I smoke Molly, Google? Then the pandemic starts. I'm like, one hand is warmer than the other, Google. What variant is this? Do I rub elderberry on it, or is it too late? I didn't know what to do. I don't know if you guys remember, but early on in the pandemic, they said, like, exercise, keep your lungs healthy, and you won't get COVID. Remember that crap? That fake news was brought to us by Big Peloton, I think. I bought an exercise bike the minute I heard that. I put it in the house against the wall, and I pedaled it like it was Wizard of Oz, like I was stealing purses in the 1940s. I'm just like... I rode it so hard, I gave myself a hemorrhoid. This was the... That's how I started the pandemic. Young guys in here, do you even know what a hemorrhoid is? Oh. Kiddos, listen, it's the worst. It's like a purple Advil grows out of your asshole, and it feels like 90,000 bees are stinging you all at once, right on your ass. And I was like, oh, this is it. This is how I die. My ass is gonna eat me from the bottom up, and I can't even go to the hospital. It's COVID. Just panicking, pacing, Googling. I couldn't show my wife. Normally I would have shown her. I just would have woken her up from a nap and been like, babe, is this for... Just grandfather clocking her. Bing, bong. Bing, bong. Hit snooze. You're like, is that normal? So I text her and I go, I think my asshole's trying to kill me. And she goes, send me a video of it. She goes, send me a video of it. I never even sent her a picture of, like, now I gotta send her an asshole movie? Like, I gotta... Why'd she skip over pictures? It took me 9 takes. I have like 8, I have like director's cut, DVD, like commentary, Blu-ray. I put the phone on the toilet seat and like entered the room like, oh, I didn't see you there. Like, just like presenting, like it was like Animal Planet. Moving stuff out of the way. One video was just all ceiling. I don't even know how I wasn't in it. I was like, how the hell? Just all cheek and hair. I was putting like sepia tones in the dog ears on Instagram. And finally got a good one. I was like, mwah! I'm sending this to a film festival. I sent it to her, and the minute I hit send, I'm like, I can never leave this woman. This is it. She's got a video of my asshole at its worst. I mean, like, that's a vow. That's the ring we should give each other when we get married. It's a picture of our assholes at its worst. I guarantee the divorce rate will drop if we do that.
I also like dogs because I think they're better roommates for protection. Because a dog to me is like having like a paranoid roommate. Right? Like they're always hearing. Like they always come up to you like, hey man, I think I heard something in the back, man. You should call the cops, man. They're so paranoid, right? They never want you to leave. Like, don't leave, man. You're gonna die out there, man. It's dangerous. That's why they're so surprised to see you. They think you die every time you leave. And then when you come back, they're like, what the f***? You're alive! I thought you were dead! We gotta call the cops, man!